such an asshole.
It may come as a shock to some of you that I do not know everything. I know, and it's true because there's only so much time in the day. I only have so much brain mass in my skull, and I don't know everything about everything. And H-1B visas are one of those fields that, though in the realm of economics, I haven't studied or researched all that much. So in what limited information I know, knowledge of economics, I am not against immigration in called for and when it benefits America or your home country, whichever country might be in general, right? Uh, we 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 had some German scientists a while ago that, despite causing some troubles beforehand, were convinced to help the United States later, largely buying the fact, or you could go to the Soviet Union. Which would you like? America, please. Yeah, we thought so, Herman. V. Gates. But aside from that unique instance, yes, generally you want the best and the brightest because all production comes from human beings. And a lot of production comes from smarter human beings because we work smarter, not harder. Now, the greatest human beings are smart and they work hard, but none of you modern day Americans will know about that. Is you drink your EBT cards and just get fat and fly in Spirit Airlines. And I like Spirit Airlines. I fly Spirit Airlines, just pointing it out. A little stinky on that plane. I've been to a Walmart, and so I've tried to get shit done. So I look at our home team and I'm like, well, maybe I understand why corporations want some immigrant labor. Right. But in the perfect world, if the brightest minds want to leave the Soviet Union, if the brightest minds want to leave Venezuela, if the brightest minds want to leave Cuba, the hardest and most working industrious people want to leave China, I could see it. But what has to come first is your own country. And this is why an immigrant program, whether it's H-1B or whatever, should be highly screwed. Look, if you're going to let everybody in, then don't have a country. Just make it an economic zone. Right? Just say, well, there's no citizenship and all that. And a lot of the left would love to destroy the United States that way, but just simply, well, anyone could vote. Come on in. No, we don't have voter ID laws. We're just this place. Please vote for me, though, so I never have to work a job. What happened to the country? Well, but I didn't have to work. I know we ruined everything, but at least I didn't have to work. So you want to make sure, hey, we're a country. Our citizens come first. That's why the irony is Trump's thing, America first. But what will the liberal white women do? How else do they feel good about championing other people than Americans? That's a them problem. But if you were saying like, hey, we're forming a country, we got to watch over our own citizens first. We're not just letting everybody in. We got to let, doctors and surgeons and accountants, those kind of things, engineers, bring those guys in. Hot chicks. So I can understand the call for wanting highly talented people coming in from other countries to your home country who are going to produce and contribute tremendously to the economy. Then there's practice, right? Then there's how is this going down in the real world? Now, Democrats want more voters. They flood the world. They flood the United States and other countries with low talent, no talent, parasitic, oftentimes welfare collectors, so they can just get votes. We are not importing doctors and surgeons, of the Democrats anyway. They're just importing mindless voters. That's all they're doing. But when it comes to the H-1B program, which is the whole idea behind it, is we can't find talented labor to meet the demands. We can't find it in the United States. So we're going to apply to the government to give these jobs to foreigners. So you get the H-1B visa. Now, way back in the day, you could have got me to kind of believe it. Again, not research, not just knowing people who were foreigners. I know several H-1B visa people, very intelligent. Some of my best friends, actually. And yeah, I got to be fair. You Americans are lazy sacks of shit. You're whiny, you're complaining. You get these videos, boomer versus zoomer, and the zoomers are like, these boomers have ridiculous education and requirements, and they're horrible bosses. You're right. And then the boomers are like, these zoomers don't show up on time and they're lazy. And you're also right. You are both you are both right and wrong at the same time. You guys deserve each other. So I could see back in my day, like remember way back in the day, I did the analysis and all my generation and successive generations, they're all major in fluffy butt plug studies. Yeah, it might be a shortage, especially when there's an IT revolution going on from the 90s to until the interest rates went up, 3 years ago. I can see there actually being a shortage sometimes. So let's just met girls, right? None of you are going to major. You girls aren't going to go to med school, right? You guys aren't going to solve the doctor's show. Oh, why are the doctors all brown? Well, not enough of you natives went to the medical school, but you did get your degree in GI studies. So I could see it a little bit. But then corpos, right? And especially recently, let's say the past 5 years, past 10, but certainly the past 5, where corporations have made it abundantly clear. See, I'm so old. I remember when corporations were like, well, we need to provide a good service and a fair product at a fair price. We're going to train our staff, make sure they're up there. Hello, sir. Welcome to Hardee's. May I help you? To sit down. We're going to make cars that, in the 90s, there was a big quality improvement because the Japanese were beating our ass in terms of quality car improvement. So the American auto manufacturers started making good cars again. We used to do it. But now all cars, especially with the rise of private equity, of course but just corporations in general. And yeah, you could see it, especially in the media. They are doing anything and everything to avoid real work and increase profits short term. And what was it? I think it was Rhinestone where they found out that they did a sampling of H-1B visa workers that came in recently, where H-1B visa guys were paid 10 grand less on average than the American equivalents. And I would not put it past corporate America and employers to lie and say, we can't find anyone in America. Just can't find them. And then they hire Punjab or Yang or Vladimir or whoever. Yep, we need them to come in. We can't find anyone. And that's where, as an American, I get pissed. And this I haven't fully resolved my thoughts and principles on this one, so I don't have an answer. On one hand, you're a private company, you can do what you want. On the other hand, why the fuck are you in America, and why the fuck don't you give jobs to Americans? Right? Like, why are we here? Why is there a country called the United States of America if you're not going to hire Americans? And shouldn't you have a little bit of loyalty? Forget, shouldn't there be just a little bit of business ethics? Shouldn't you have just a little bit of loyalty? We should really give jobs to Americans. Every other country is playing that game. India for Indians, Mexico or Mexicans for Mexico for Mexicans. The Japanese maybe not so much. But we're America first. Maybe you give job. Oh no, Microsoft, you got to pay an American engineer an extra 10 grand on $120,000 salary. Oh nosies. Oh my God, we could save $10,000. Let's do it. Not asking whether you should. I don't know how that's going to put, but there's definitely your turn. I got to imagine, I guess the way it would manifest itself in terms of financial and economic reality is turnover, right? You boomer bosses, young people don't want to work today. Well, maybe if you stopped outsourcing their jobs and paid them a living wage, it's just me. Maybe your turnover wouldn't be so bad. And turnover costs companies a tremendous amount of money. And maybe if you not have H-1B visas, and maybe if you an outsourced job, maybe people could afford some things now. But neither here nor there. So this guy sent me an article. Hello, Mr. Clary. I am not at all part of this project, but you and your audience probably would like to know about Jobs Now. This site is fighting H-1B visa programs by posting jobs that are posted to printed classified sections of newspapers by large tech companies. Why? So no one applies for these jobs after 30 days. The tech company could say they try to hire an American and are now allowed to hire a foreigner using the H-1B visa program. Okay, so I guess by law, they have to go through the motions and apply, post the job somewhere. Seems like they're posting it on newspapers, which no one reads anymore. And this company, Jobs Now, www.jobs.now, post these jobs on the internet. Great idea. Problem. Obviously, the employers are posting these jobs because they have no intention of hiring someone who is domestic. Corporations come up with any excuse they can. That's why they got the sleaze talk. Just that slimy, oily sleaze talk. Says nothing. Sounds good. If they don't want to hire an American, they'll find a way to hire a foreigner. They will. Because let's say someone finds a job that was originally posted on a newspaper by a tech company trying to avoid hiring an American. They're going to save themselves $8,000 a year. Jobs Now posts it. An American applies for it. Karen in HR is like, what the fuck is Jim Jones? We should not have any American names applying for this. Who's applying for this job? Well, what Karen's going to, she's going to go to her boss, Karen Sr. Karen Sr., I got a resume application on that job posting that no one was supposed to see. What do I do with it? Karen Sr. would say, oh, just send him a rejection letter because that says Jim Jones. That's an American. We don't want Jim Jones, working here. Like, I don't know how they got it, but someone high up enough the chain is going to say, what the fuck is going on? No, and that's, you guys all have experienced how HR is slimy. They'll send you the slimy. A lot of times they don't even send you a rejection letter. They might say thank you to protect their asses. They might send a paper trail saying thank you for your interest. After careful consideration, we decided to go with another candidate. And good luck finding the federal resources to go and investigate this shit. Now, if I was President King, not just president, but king, I would be up employers' asses. You would not. You Zoomers are right. You are right. And having worked for boomers before and corporations in general and seeing what the shit they're doing now to American products, American employees, the fear of God would be I would come this close to threatening their lives. I'd have like some Marine polishing a sniper rifle in the office. I say, hey, Marine, what is that weapon you're carrying? Well, sir, this is a 50 caliber or whatever sniper rifle. How far does that go? Oh, it goes 1.5 miles. Or how good of a shot are you? Could you hit that guy's head from 1.5 miles away? Absolutely, sir. Oh, that's interesting to know. Thank you, Marine. As you were. And if it was just me, I'd be like, do you want to hire Americans or not? Let's just come here and be truthful with me. Okay, you don't want to hire Americans? Get the fuck out. I've talked about it before. I'd make it's close to a 0% corporate tax rate as I could. So you can have 0% corporate taxes. You fuck around with me, those taxes go up. And soon I'd be like, nah, get out of here. You want to hire people in India? Move your fucking shit to India. Get the fuck out of here. Because whereas I'm all for the free market, at the end of the day, the government, where it's state, federal, local, is the one cheering and should be protecting the sovereignty that has been elected to, right? The federal government should protect the entire nation of the United States. The state of Illinois should protect the citizens of Illinois, right? It should be managed in the best interest. And that'd be like, oh, you'd like to be here. Oh, okay. What's with all this laying off all these people, but then hiring all those? Like, if I ever found out Americans were being were being paid to train the replacements, there would be such hell. I'd be dragging the CEOs. I'd be making a show of them. And then I would talk to the legal experts we have, say, what can we sue them for? What can we get them for? even going so far as to like do the untouchables, like we're going to get them on tax evade. We're going to find something else. And then behind closed doors, I'd grab the ear of the president and CEO and I say, you listen to me, you little motherfucker. And there'd be an understanding achieved. And then, oh my God, whatever. Cargill no longer requires college degrees. They got training programs fresh out of high school. Well, how about that? Oh my God, the requirement for college degrees all went away. How about that? There's a labor shortage and we really need to hire Americans. We're going to pay them a fair wage and we're going to train them and no bullshit. And we're not going to do DEI or ESG or any of that other. And then there'll still be some immigrants allowed in, but they got to have really respect because we really want to hire Americans and pay them a living wage. How about that? I knew you'd find the money for that. This blog post will do a much better job describing the H-1B visa situation, how the site is fighting back. So this is jobs.now, unveiling the truth about H-1B visas, are American workers being sidelines? This is from January 5th. When we started posting about the impact of H-1B visas on American workers, we immediately started to hear common response. Companies have to prove they couldn't find an American before they sponsor an immigrant. It was immediately clear that Americans did not have a clear understanding of common immigration visas. Why would they? The rules are complicated and can be opaque, and there's not much reason to learn them unless you are an immigration lawyer or an immigrant applying for one. The truth is that companies are not required to try to hire an American before seeking an H-1B visa for an immigrant to fill a job. The Department of Labor clearly states this on fact sheet 620 on their website. There are exceptions for employers with very high ratios of visa holders to citizens, but most companies do not face this burden and can go straight to hiring an immigrant. So why does this misunderstanding persist with so many people repeating it? The answer lies in the PERM process, where employers can apply to bring a worker into the U.S. permanently instead of the temporary 5-year term of an H-1B visa. To obtain this permanent status for a worker, the first step towards being awarded a green card, allowing indefinite residence in the U.S., employers do have to perform a U.S. labor market test. All right, so you could come here and work temporarily. It's two separate ones. So instead of a 5-year term for an H-1B visa, permanent status, well, then why is there a process for the H-1B visa? I'll just continue reading. Employers do have to perform a U.S. labor market test in which the company advertises the job they desire to fill publicly for at least 30 days. The rules of the labor market test are intended to provide protection so that U.S. workers have every opportunity to apply for a job before an immigrant worker is offered permanent status to fill in an open role. But the reality is that immigration law firms have optimized the process to minimize chances that an immigration process will be slowed down by interviewing American citizens for jobs. Jobs for which companies plan to sponsor an immigrant will meet the minimum requirements by 1, posting jobs for the minimum 30-day period, 2, only in print classified sections of newspapers, and 3, devising convoluted application processes, and 4, requiring mailed-in paper applications instead of the typical online form application. Abuses like these have been documented by companies as large as Apple, which settled with the Justice Department for $25 million in 2023 for devising a PERM market process test, which illegally discriminated against U.S. citizens. All right, so there's a court case where the judges or a jury looked at it and said, yeah, you're abusing it. And again, given the the horrible ethics, the complete lack of ethics, the complete lack of loyalty or patriotism on the part of corporations, just a blind, short-sighted pursuit of profits. You're breaking the law now. I absolutely believe that's happening. Absolutely. Look, Microsoft, right? Go to my video about Linux versus Windows 11. I wanted to have a slideshow program. Like I have a thumb drive with all my pictures of all my life put on a thumb drive, right? And I just wanted it to be like a digital picture frame. I think it was Windows 11. Yeah, it's a Windows 11 machine. 10 years ago, Microsoft Media would just play whatever, it would play all forms of media. Now I had to download a codec to play like MP4s or like a JPEG or something like I forget what it was, but and it was $1. You go like, if you're that dumb, if you're willing to trip over a dollar to pick up a dime like that, to hey, you know what? Let's not install all the codecs and make it so people have to waste 15 minutes of their time to give us $1 so they can open up an MP4 file. I absolutely see every corporation doing this. Absolutely. Private equity, that's all you guys know. Hey, here's a great company that everybody likes. All right, take the food that they were using before, turning into shit food, jack up the prices. Oh my God, why aren't people showing up to PF Chang's anymore? It's a Scooby-Doo mystery. Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, I corporations, it's not that they're evil scum, they're mindless scum. Anything to increase their profits, as petty as it possibly microtransactions, right? The idea of microtransactions on video games, I absolutely believe corporations are absolutely coming up with bullshit perm processes so they can go save $5,000 in somebody's salary. Despite landmark fines, companies persist in setting up adversarial perm market tests that hide jobs postings from U.S. citizens to speed up immigration applications. The Jobs.now team has reviewed job postings from dozens of top companies like Meta, Block, DoorDash, and Netflix, which require unusual application processes like emailing or paper mailing the application to specialized addresses or using unbranded separate websites for collecting applications for jobs. The reason for being for Jobs.now is to cut through the complicated processes companies put between U.S. citizens and open jobs, which again, I applaud you. But if they don't want to hire you, they're not going to hire you. They'll find a reason. They will. And make sure every American gets the first chance at opportunities in their own country. I appreciate that. You could donate to them at Jobs.now. If you want to go look for jobs, please do. Here's the problem. If corporations are going to play this way, it's like the welfare state. Yeah, the welfare state was originally intended for people down and out. Now people are just using it as a living lifestyle. There's only one solution. You eliminate the program. Say, okay, right? Your dad says, son, here's a 22 rifle. You're old enough. You've gone to the gun safety thing. Go out in the backyard. Shoot into that berm. You're only allowed to shoot into that berm. And in this field, you may shoot varmint and rabbit and whatever else. But those are the only two places you're allowed to shoot. And then the kid runs around the neighborhood, starts shooting up things, shooting up windows, and he violated, didn't follow. You know what you do? You take the gun away. It's the same thing here. Okay, corporations, you're going to play these slimy games, right? You're going to break the intention of the law or the intention of the welfare program. We're taking it away. You don't get it anymore. Oh my God, we can't find people. Yeah, you can find people. You just got to go overseas. Move your quarters overseas. I don't care. But don't waste I know this sounds like a very minor waste of time, but it's not. At least don't waste American people's time with the job application process you have no intention of giving them, right? How many of you hated when HR and corporations wasted your time? You guys remember Talio and Brass Ring? Do you remember that? Filling out all these applications and then you never heard back from them again? This is why I'm 100% sympathetic with Gen Z because I had to go through it. If you took the amount of time you spent applying for jobs, you could literally, I'm not kidding, you probably could pour a foundation for a home, frame it, and get the roof trusses up. You could have a third of a house built by your own hands instead of applying for jobs and wasting your labor. You could have picked up auto mechanics. You could have done literally anything more productive. You could have started putting together a garden that you could eat food from for the rest of your life. That's the economic loss there. I'm wondering how much time Americans waste applying for jobs that just aren't there. Either going to an immigrant or they don't exist and they're just scraping your data. That's a more modern thing. So, yeah, go ahead, go to jobs.now, take a look at it. Um, I think that's it's awesome. But the truth is, look, you you corporals don't wanna hire Americans, that's fine. Americans should not be applying for you then. Go hire as many immigrants as you want, outsource as many jobs as you want, and I think all Americans have to do is just not work for these people. Don't buy their products, right? Microsoft. I I got a whole video about installing Linux. Linux has become so easy, like Mint, Ubuntu. There's different variations of it. I use Ubuntu. They're simple to use. They're very point click. It's got that normal people. You don't have to upgrade to Windows 11. You don't have to get Microsoft Office. There's a new guy in it. It's been there for a while. Finally got it caught up. You don't have to go to Hollywood movies. You don't have to subscribe to Netflix. What you'll find is that I know this is going on higher elevation. You don't have to buy things. I know you need some things to get by, but go to Goodwill, go somewhere, get a used car, and then you know what? Go outside and play. Go outside, develop an outdoor hobby, go fishing, something. You don't yeah, you're gonna have to work. Yeah, you're gonna have to do something. Ideally, you become an accountant if you'd like to work remotely and self-employed. You could take my course, The World's Greatest Accounting Career. There's something. You want all this to just go get it's not just go get it, it's a 2 minimum, more like 4-year process on becoming an accountant. But if you're interested in just a career that leads to self-employment relatively easily, no guarantees, take a look at my course, The World's Greatest Accounting Career. Teaches about the accounting careers. Surprise. Yeah, yeah. Hey, you immigrants want our white collar jobs? You want to sit and deal with Tina and Becky and Trisha? Yeah, go take it. Fine. Good. Go. Still honest, they fired all their Western engineers and they hired a bunch of second world engineers. No offense. You're not as good. You might be as smart, but your training wasn't as good. Not as rigorous. Sorry. Oh, wow. The cars went to shit. Surprise. Sounds like a you problem. Look, here's what it is. I should even retitle this. It is painfully obvious the vast majority of American women are not interested in the vast majority of American men. And yet you guys, out of genetics and biology, keep trying to convince them to do something they truly don't want to do. And I think a lot of guys, more with the red pill, are starting to realize, wait a minute, my life is too short to be trying to force people to do something they clearly and obviously don't want to do. And I'm only harassing and bothering them. I'm wasting my precious time. Yeah, it would be nice to have this. It would be nice, but they don't want to go out with me. It's the same thing with American employers. They don't want to hire you, right? And if they do hire you, they're going to treat you like shit. They're going to try to pay you as little as humanly possible to the point, just like a girl who wouldn't really want to marry you, like isn't throwing herself at you. That marriage, if you somehow tooth pulled her into marrying you, is going to be a miserable marriage. Your career is going to be a miserable career with employers who simply don't want to hire you. But oh, we have to. Ew, employees, gross. I do the spoof, the funny, haha. Ew, sex, that's gross. It's the same thing. Employers with employees. Ooh, employees, they're gross. I don't want to do that. No matter how important it might be to making a profit or propagating the species. And after a while, it's not just women or dating where you got to realize, yeah, they're just not that into you. You got to realize there's other instances. Look, American employers, we get it. You have absolutely no intention of giving us a fair shake at a real career. None whatsoever. I think, and this is why I'm always on the Zoomer side in this regard. Yeah, you should lie flat. You should. Because we can't find we're going to outsource all the jobs. Okay, so you're going to outsource all the jobs anyway. You're going to pay me shit wages. You're going to make me get constant CPE. I was going to have to, just so you know, you guys aren't missing anything. I worked white collar before, right, and had a real job and all that shit. No joke, man. We're talking maybe 25% of my job was actually doing my job. The rest of it was all this other bullshit. Meetings, training, listening to people blather. It's no different than marriage. Like, you hear about marriage, "Oh my god, I finally get laid." Yeah, but you don't hear about, like, the girl nagging and complaining and whining, getting fat, asking stupid questions. There's a reason your old man has the look of defeat in his eye. There's a reason divorce happens. It's the same thing here. After a while, you gotta say, "This is not acceptable." And you know what? I'm not only am I not going through this process of pulling your teeth to get a job, now, I'm giving up on it entirely because it's obvious you don't wanna hire people here, and that's fine. I think Americans should just stop applying. I know you need a job somewhere. I know. I know you're gonna have to apply to get the money. I understand, get a job, but I would not I'd do exactly as Gen Z is doing. You're lying flat. You pay minimum pay, you get minimum effort. The mailing it in or the ghosting or whatever, absolutely. Absolutely. And at any point in time, you American employers can wake the fuck up and change some things, a lot of which doesn't have anything to do with higher pay. You can start by saying, "We are committed to hiring Americans." Oh my God. You can say, "We will do training so you don't have to go to college." Oh my God. That right there, saving young people the unnecessary requirement to go to college would do tremendous things. Really? But it'll cost us training. It'll save you on salary, but that's how dumb, and I'm not kidding. That's how dumb HR is and corporate executives are. They are so dumb. They don't know. And you know what? At the end of the day, do you really want to go work for these people? That's why one of the main reasons me and Chad came up with the world's greatest accounting career. So you didn't have to deal with this shit. Now, accounting is boring and doing taxes is boring. And yes, you're going to have to work for someone for a while. And yes, but inevitably, either via the CPA certification or the enrolled agent certification, you go and you study. It's going to be boring. It's going to suck. But after 3 to 4 years, all of a sudden, hey, now you could up your own tax practice. You know what you don't have to do? Deal with this fucking bullshit. You never have to apply for a job again because the fucking customers are coming directly to you. That's not to say the only career is accounting. There's other fields. Like the railroads, they'll hire you and train you. Then, oh, cool. Bachelor's required, master's preferred. Like, you want to go work in a cold environment late at night and we'll pay you 80 grand and we'll train you? Yeah, okay, here you come on in. But yeah, this, especially tech, look, big tech has got all political and have all sorts of money shoved. Look, yeah, hey, you know what? You want to outsource everything to India or go ahead. Go ahead, go do it. Get the fuck out of here. This is like your wife wants it. Hey, you know what it's like? It dawned on me. You know what it is like corporations wanting to outsource all the jobs and hired foreigners? It's like your wife wanting an open relationship. They don't want to get divorced. They still want to live in the house, but then they want to fuck other men. It's kind of like that. Like in a very libertarian, like, yeah, I guess if I am okay with it, then and you're okay with it, I guess. But you know what? I'm not okay with it. No, you either go live with that man or, but in either case, you're out of my fucking house. We're not married anymore. I think it's kind of like that. Yeah, you want to do that, but then you don't get the house of the United States. You don't get our infrastructure. You don't get our talent pool. Get the fuck out of here. That really is what it's like. I think that's a good analogy. U.S. or any employer wishing to go out of their way to hire non-citizens of your respective country, it's like your wife wanting to fuck other men in an open room, but still wants to be married. Like, no, get the fuck out of here. You like hiring people? Then go move there. Of course, falls apart because there are some companies that are truly global. Yes, we need to hire people in whatever, Bolivia, because that's where the mine is. We need to hire people in Canada because that's where the self-loathing white people live. We need all these different things. But when it's like, yeah, you could hire domestic, citizens of your country, but you choose to outsource it to save yourself what, $500? Like, now, out of here. So there you are. Let's go to the super chats. Sock Duck, $2. The one reason I'm not for Elon's new party. Elon's new party is going to be like the Bull Moose party. He's just going to split the Republican Party. Someone tell Elon to shut the fuck up. Reen, 10 generous dollars. And your country will be culturally enriched like the UK. Yeah, thank God they are arresting men for catcalling, though. I know. It's dude, and then there's a whole, well, why would I work anyway? Why would I work up the money to go? I can't even talk to women, and they're like, oh, fuck it. There's no reason. I'm tired of working with nothing but Indians. H-1B will increase hatred. Wait, are you in the UK? Well, H-1B, yeah. Yeah, you're not doing much for race relations, having a bunch of immigrants come in that, where it's quite suspect you're doing it just to save money, not hiring Americans. Yeah, and the demoralization where, man, you'll let every man in, but if one of your domestic men catcalls you, we gotta get them arrested. I saw that. That was hilarious. I'm gonna go for a hike and enjoy my day. I'm gonna laugh at the people. I'm gonna laugh at the zoo animals, the Americans and the UK people. I'm gonna laugh at them. Look at them. Look what they're doing to themselves. It's fucking funny, man. All right, that's it. Questions, answers, Asshole Consulting. I'm not going to link to it below, but if you're interested in that course and becoming self-employed and remotely employed, take a look at accounting. The world's greatest accounting career available on Teachable. I'll see you guys later. Toodles.